Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. Cases, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. From gourmet snacks to unique finds, each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Cam Show here on Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke behind the glass, keeping us on the air as he does 5 days a week, live on YouTube at noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. We're talking nothing but Boston sports because we are your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. Today, we will get into the Bruins. I'm going to make up way more of the preseason than I need to, okay? I'm going to make way more out of it than I need to. But we're going to start with a top 10 list voted by the NHL players on who the next face of the league is. And James Hagens is much higher on that list than a lot of you might think. Boy, do the Bruins potentially have something special in this kid. Plus, we will do the preseason overreactions. There are two guys that really stuck out to me last night in the Bruins comeback preseason win over the Rangers. We're going to see why these two guys could legitimately make the team and make an impact for the Bruins this year. And we will take a look at the wild card race in the American League because, boy, is this getting interesting with that Tigers and Guardians series. That's the Red Sox next opponent, Detroit, and they will all be battling for a playoff spot in the final days of the season. It's going to get real fun, if not completely nerve-wracking. All that and more coming up on this episode of The Camp Show. But we start where we start. It's in the thumbnail. It's why you guys clicked on this, so why don't we not put that off any longer? It's the Bruins. It's preseason, but boy, we are getting so close. And of course, really one of the guys that Bruins fans are going to be watching the most of this year, maybe just as much as David Pastrnak and Charlie McAvoy, is James Hagens at Boston College. And it's been a weird couple of months with him falling into the Bruins' lap at number 7 and people criticizing them for taking this kid and some thinking they got the steal of the draft. That's me. Well, the NHL players have something to say about this. Let's just say that. 3 months ago, everyone with a microphone and a laptop that had any job talking about hockey was telling you James Hagens wasn't good enough. They were all trying to tell you why he was too small, he didn't produce enough points, and why you shouldn't take him in the top 10. Now, the actual NHL players are making their thoughts about James Hagens pretty clear. He is the future of the NHL. More importantly for us, he's the future of the Boston Bruins. The Athletic ran their preseason players poll on all sorts of things, facilities and coaches and front offices and all that. But one of them is about who is the future face of the league, not a face of your franchise, a face of the league. And when you pull this up, it's going to be pretty shocking because there, in the top 5, James Hagens sitting right there. That's a guy who the NHL players think is going to take over this league. It's the Athletics poll, but shout out to Jimmy Hockey for putting the graphic up and allowing us to use that. That's fantastic. Right there, James Hagens. Right there with 3 guys whom teams deliberately made their fans absolutely miserable for an entire season. And one in Gavin McKenna, whom several teams will try to suck for this year. Like, that's nuts. We're talking about guys who are seen as generational talents that James Hagens is right there with. McKenna obviously fits that bill. Connor Bedard fit that bill. Now Macklin Celebrini are the ones that everyone's talking about, right? So there weren't that many votes going on. But James Hagens is really highly thought of when it comes to guys who could be the future of this game. He got several top 5 votes as well, by the way. 3 guys whom generational is the word that's thrown around. And then there's Hagens. He's also ahead of some of the brightest young players in the league right now. Matvei Michkov just had a 60-plus point season as a rookie. And Jack Hughes, who's basically nailed on to play for the most talented USA hockey team ever at next year's Olympics. And he has shown some stuff already in the NHL. Don't know if you've noticed. But James Hagens is right there. That's a guy who they think alongside or even better than. Okay? That's a great thing for Bruins fans to be hearing right now. Like if you were following along with this show back in the spring, you'll know that I think of James Hagens very much in this kind of discussion. Like, that's the way I'm thinking about him. Like, I thought the narrative around Hagens leading up to the draft was just blown way out of proportion. Way out of proportion. And even the day of the draft, I thought there was no chance he was going to fall to the Bruins at 7. And when And when he was there, I was literally jumping on my couch that he was there. But this narrative, I don't know where it came from. The kid, he didn't have a major injury. He doesn't have off the ice issues. He didn't even put up bad numbers. But suddenly teams were out. They were out on James Hagens. He was the number one prospect in the draft leading up to the season. But at the end of the season, he was suddenly too small. No, can't draft him. We're going to take a reach on a kid like a Brady Martin over him. Didn't get it, man. Did not get it. The number one, by the way, the number one pick in the draft this year played like 15 games. He had a broken collarbone. And the concern that is that a newly minted 18-year-old James Hagens is too small. He was hailed as the best American prospect since Austin Matthews, but he only got a point a game playing as a 17 and an 18-year-old in Hockey East. I'm trying, man. I'm really trying. But I don't get it. And so he didn't have a Macklin Celebrini freshman season in college hockey. Celebrini was, of course, a 17-year-old and put up gross numbers. And because James Hagens didn't do that, he can't be thought of as the next guy. He can't be thought of because he didn't put up 65 points and win the Hobey Baker. Like, top 5 in this list ain't nothing. I mean, shit, he's only 2 spots behind Connor Bedard. Connor Bedard, man. This guy was supposed to be a savior of an original 6 franchise, which, by the way, he still will be. I think the people are going overboard about the Bedard thing from last year. But what does shock me again is seeing whom they put James Hagens ahead of. Like, we're talking about, you have a guy there who's coming off an excellent rookie season in Michkov, a 21-year-old defenseman who already has 75 NHL points, the Calder Trophy winner from last year, and, oh yeah, a guy who already has a 99-point season under his belt and who has scored 350 NHL points before his 24th birthday in Jack Hughes. That's incredible, man. That's incredible, especially when you consider the fact that Hughes is the guy that Hagens gets compared to the most. That some fans or some players are thinking, yeah, actually, I'd probably roll with Hagens as the next future of the league. Wow. And I get the divisiveness, the dissent around Jack Hughes. I get it. He was a guy who there's still questions as to whether his game holds up in the playoffs when it's more physical and there's not as much space. He didn't look great in the Four Nations. I thought he was one of the big disappointments of the Four Nations, playing for Team USA. But if I told you the Bruins were going to get a center who could put up 354 points before he's 24, would you take that? I think I'd take that. I'd take that in a hot minute. And the other thing, too, about our pal Jimmy Hagens is he has a humongous advantage over Jack Hughes, over Connor Bedard, over pretty much anybody else on this list. He gets this great privilege of being able to play alongside one of the top 5 forwards in the NHL right away. None of these other guys have the benefit of playing alongside a David Pastrnak. In fact, the only one who's really close on that list is Lane Hudson. He's playing alongside some really good young talent in Montreal, but he's a defenseman. You know, a good offensive defenseman, don't get me wrong, but it's not like he's creating for Cole Caulfield necessarily. Like, Connor Bedard has Ryan Donato. Michkov has Sean Couturier. Hughes has Jesper Bratt. Good player, but not David Pastrnak good. Not at all, actually. And probably benefits quite a lot from playing alongside Jack Hughes. No disrespect on Jesper Bratt, but we're talking about a top 5 forward in the league in Pastrnak. a guy who I thought probably could have won the MVP last year because of the value he brought. But that's more on the video I did last week, which you guys should check out, where I say that David Pastrnak is a better player right now than Sidney Crosby and Austin Matthews, and back it up with stats. But we're talking about a position here that Hagens plays that the Bruins have been chasing for years now. Like, if he lives up to the hype, he fixes so many of the offensive problems the Bruins have right now. So many. And it's going to take some time, obviously. It's going to take some time for him to adjust to all of it, right? The physical grind, the travel, the defensive responsibility, things like that. But he brings a boost of creativity right away that the Bruins just have not had in, I say a while, really a couple years ago when they had Krejci and Bergeron. But even then, those guys were aging. Like, you knew you were hoping that last year especially to get a good half season out of both of them, right? But for some reason, back to Hagens, for some reason it was so easy for analysts and some teams, some GMs, to forget that he started this last season as a 17-year-old playing against 23-year-olds in the deepest and toughest conference in college hockey. And yeah, he was also probably deferring a little bit because both of his line mates ended the year in the National Hockey League. Okay? He had some talent around him. So, yeah, sorry he didn't score 30 goals in 37 games. You know, that wasn't going to happen realistically. But you watch. This year is going to be fascinating. There's probably going to be a little adjustment period with some new line mates. He's got 5 Bruins prospects as teammates on this Boston College team. But you watch. This year, as the hockey season goes along, you're going to see the hype build and build and build. And Bruins fans are just going to get more and more excited as the season goes on. And you best believe that by the time we get to Hockey East tournament and then the national tournament, the chatter is going to be, can James Hagens play in the NHL this year? Can he get called up for the Bruins after BC's season is over? Hopefully before the Frozen Four. That's 2 extra weeks you get. I think you'll get a real bargain out of that at number 7. This kid, again, was supposed to be number 1. That's huge. Supposed to be number 1 and no injury, no arrest, no problematic tweets, just 5'11". Plenty of guys playing in the NHL that are 5'11". And he's already added 15 pounds of muscle since being drafted by the Bruins. That's something that is so easily fixable. You know, it's so easily fixable to get this kid to better physical numbers. Again, there's going to be an adjustment. Absolutely. There always is. You know, he goes from playing 37 games to playing 82. And he's going from having his furthest travel be Orono, Maine to being Vancouver. You know, that's different. I get it. And what I do like about this too is when he comes into the league, he's going to have a ton of eyes on him, sure. You know, he's the highest draft pick in 15 years for one of the league's most important franchises. But on the flip side of that, he's not Connor Bedard in that sense. He's not Gavin McKenna. You know, he's not a number 1 pick that goes to a huge hockey market. He's a number 7 pick that goes to a huge hockey market. And again, teams getting this kind of a talent in the first round of the draft, those guys don't typically get sandwiched between a 30-goal scorer like Morgan Geekie and a 100-point scorer, a guy who just scored 60 goals a few years ago in David Pastrnak. That doesn't happen. And obviously, he's probably not going to start his career on the first line right away. That could happen in San Jose because you're San Jose. It's probably not going to happen with the Bruins. But he will get some playing time with those guys. Sure, you know, if your first line center gets hurt, why not throw Hagens into that mix? right? Like, let's say it's still Elias Lindholm and he gets hurt. He's out for a couple of weeks. Why not slot Hagens up there? He's probably going to be on a power play unit with them. He's going to be the most creative center they have as soon as he steps onto the ice, unless they go get Jack Eichel this offseason. He's going to be playing power play minutes with them. This kid, man, he is the next hope for the Boston Bruins. No doubt about it. Make no mistake about it. If he can get anywhere near what the NHL players already think of him, we are in for some kind of treat, man. Some kind of treat. And you can all call up Felger and say, I don't give a shit where he went to college. This kid was the best available player at number 7 in the draft. And I think most NHL experts would have told you that. Most of them. But, he plays at BC. Can we stop with the local guys? Yeah. I don't think that's going to be the refrain from Bruins fans or even the abyss that is Boston Sports Talk Radio after his first season or two. I don't think that's going to be the chatter. Maybe I'm being naive, but I think the vibes are going to be very, very high around this kid. And I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I'm no BC fan, but I'll be watching a ton of Boston college hockey coming up this season. Probably get to a couple of games as well and see what this kid can do. Like, I am so excited to see the kind of season he's going to put up this year, the growth in his game, and hopefully, again, knock on wood, hopefully, we see him for a couple of games at the end of the season, the same way we did with Charlie McAvoy in 2017. He was playing playoff games back in 2017, hit the ground running. We saw it with Ryan Leonard with the Caps last year. Gabe Perreault, his BC teammate, BC line mate, was doing it with the Rangers last year. So I am really excited to see what this kid can do. And if he can get anywhere near face of the league kind of material, I'm in. Like, I'm so far in. And I would love to get one of these beautiful looking new Bruins sweaters and put a little Hagens 10 on the back because I'm that excited. And the NHL players are as well. But are you? Are you excited about James Hagens? Do you think he could be in the running for a future face of the NHL kind of player? Let me know in the comments section below. Then be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel because we got Bruins Talk and Boston Sports Talk 5 days a week, live on YouTube at noon Eastern time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. I'm your host, Cam Stuart. That's why it's called The Cam Show. Zach Burke is behind the glass, keeping us on the air. Check out the other videos on YouTube, talking a lot of Bruins, but also Red Sox, Patriots, everything else going on in the world of Boston sports. Your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio is The Cam Show. But coming up next, we're going to keep it with the Bruins, actually. I'm going to overreact to a preseason game because there are two guys who stood out to me that I think could actually legitimately fill some real holes on this Bruins team. And I'm excited to talk about it and tell you who those two guys are coming up next on The Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Join us at golfpartnerusa.com and discover why we're the trusted choice for golf lovers worldwide. That's GOLFPARTNERUSA.com. Golf Partner.
Since 2003, Bluehost has been empowering people to harness their brands online with innovative web hosting solutions. Trusted by over 2 million users, we're the longest-running WordPress.org recommended host. With Bluehost, you get a safer, better web experience, supported by the world's most popular site builder, and backed by our commitment to open source projects. Visit Bluehost.com today and take your website to the next level.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internix.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress. It's like a wearable hug for your nervous system that helps you calm down and feel better. The Apollo wearable will send gentle vibrations to your body, like a song you can feel instead of hear. You feel better. You sleep better. And you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
And now, back to our show.
Back to our show, The Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke, behind the glass, keeping us on the air 5 days a week. Speaking of behind the glass, we're going to look in front of the glass. Is that right? Yeah, we're going to talk about the Bruins preseason, and I'm going to overreact a little bit. I said I wouldn't do this, but then they came back from 4-1 down in the third period and beat the Rangers in a completely fucking meaningless game. But I'm in. I'm buying into not necessarily this team, but maybe some guys who are on the fringe. Because that's what the preseason is about, right? These guys who, veterans mainly, who are on the fringe of this thing. Like I think we'll see plenty of Matthew Poitras and Fraser Minten this year. Of course, you look at them as young guys who are 22 or under, and seeing how they're adjusting. But when you're the fan of a Don Sweeney-led team, and you get a bunch of these veteran guys who haven't done much of anything in the NHL, you look to these games for those players and say, okay, what can they actually do here? Bruins, Rangers, and there was no David Pastrnak. Look, there's no McAvoy. There's no JT Miller on the other side. In fact, the best player by far to play in this game was Adam Fox. And boy, will we get to him in a second. But yeah, no Shesterkin, no Jeremy Swayman. I don't even think Morgan Geekie played in this game. So you got to take it with a grain of salt, as you do with any preseason game in any sport. But just like how we do with the NFL, we look for these guys battling in position battles. We're going to do the same when it comes to hockey and the Boston Bruins. So look, guys, I know it's just preseason and we're not supposed to make much out of it. But for two of the fringe guys you signed this offseason in Matvei Blumel and Michael Eyssimont, could you ask for anything more than what you got from them against the Rangers? I mean, come on, man. Like that, two big check marks. Blumel gets a goal on a nifty little play, and Eyssimont had himself quite a night. But Blumel on the goal, again, great AHL goal scorer, makes this little stick play along the wall. He sends it up to the point. I think it was to Yoki Haru, maybe. He sends it up to the point. It's a nice play. It swung back around. As soon as he makes the pass, he heads straight for the net. And so Middlestad's got the puck at the faceoff dot, backdoor pass from the dot, tip in, goal. Easy as you like. That's what Matvei Blumel can bring to you. We'll get to him in a minute. Michael Eyssimont, though. Michael Eyssimont. Have yourself a night, young fella. 2 goals and an assist, 3-point night, and almost single-handedly brought the Bruins back from 3 goals down in the third. They scored 3 in the third. He had a hand in all of them. He was probably the most impressive Bruin on the ice last night. And the play of the game, the one that we'll be circling and replaying if this kid actually makes the roster, is him. I say he's a kid. He's older than me. The play of the game is Eyssimont absolutely hounding Adam Fox, a Norris Trophy winner, a USA Olympian soon. It just takes the puck right off him in his own zone, shorthanded. The Rangers are on a power play. And then he skates through another defenseman right through the wickets, forehand, backhand, top shelf, absolute thing of beauty. Thing of beauty. And the other goal comes from a play kind of like Blumel, where there's actual goal-scoring instinct there. He contributes to a puck battle. I don't know if I could say he wins the puck battle. He certainly contributes to it, though. He sneaks behind 2 defenders who both go for the puck, flashes across the crease, and by the time he gets the puck on the other side, he's got all day to shoot it. In tight, top shelf again. That goaltender, was leaving a ton of the top of the net open. And it's definitely a preseason goal, for sure. It's definitely a preseason goal. The way that 2 or 3 Rangers went right to the puck, a backup goalie who leaves a ton of the net open, definitely. But the goal scoring instincts are kind of there. And the Rangers broadcast actually said it, because on NESN, we only got the Rangers broadcast. They were saying it that's kind of a goal scorer's goal. It's leaky defense. It's not a very good defensive play, but it's weird that there's goal scoring instincts and there's a shot there. It looked like an NHL shot for a guy who only poured in 16 points in 77 games as a 28-year-old last year. We're not talking about a 21, 22-year-old kid who's just trying to make his first impression in the NHL. We're talking about a 28-year-old kid who's trying to make a real impression in the NHL. And that could lead some Bruins fans to be listening to this and being like, okay, then why are we even talking about it? Come on. Seriously, 28 years old. But I'll get to that. There's a spot there. And he also had an assist. Nice assist on a 6-on-5. Goal he pulled late in the game, going for the game-tying goal. He's sitting there right at kind of goal line extended, as we'd call it in lacrosse. Hard pass right on the stick of Marat Husnadinov. Boy, do I want that kid to be good so I could get his name on the back of a jersey. And the game is tied. Am I expecting Michael Eyssimont to be a 20-goal guy? Of course not. No. In fact, he might be bouncing between Providence and Boston. But, can one of these guys be Danton Heinen? You remember him? 2-time Bruin, kind of started his career there, then came back. Heinen came in on a professional tryout before the 2024 season. PTO, just trying to stay in the league somehow. And yet, he became a big reason why the Bruins overachieved that year, made the playoffs and won a playoff series. Guy gets 36 points as a 28-year-old. The most he had in 6 years. And the second most in his career. Can one of those guys be that? I don't think that's a huge ask. I mean, it would be 20 points more than either of them scored in the NHL last year, right? But Blumel, this might be a real shot to get a run at the NHL here. He's been practicing with Hampus Lindholm on the second power play unit in the first few days of training camp. That tells me there's a spot for him on this team. There's a spot there. And you're taking a flyer. This is the guy that Pastrnak basically begged you to go and sign. You're taking a flyer for sure, but he's scored 70 goals in the last 2 years in the AHL. 70. You're telling me he can't have at least 15 in the NHL this year when he's going to get a real run of games and he's going to get power play minutes? I think he can do that, man. I really do. And look, this team is desperate for a 20-goal guy. Someone on the wing who can provide some offense that's not named Pastrnak or Geeky. And of course, Geeky is getting all that from Pastrnak. And the other thing you got to worry about is, can Morgan Geeky do that again? Is he actually a 30-goal guy in this league on a 22% shooting percentage, leading the league in that category? That is an anomaly. That is a statistical anomaly. I like Morgan Geeky. I think he's a good player, a solid player. I think he's got an NHL shot for sure. But 33 goals? Is that more realistic than 23? 20 even? Can Blumel just give some offense there? Can Blumel and Eyssimont combine for 33 goals, 35 goals? That's a lot considering that neither of them have had 10. But I think they're going to get a real run of games here, especially Blumel. I mean, Blumel couldn't break in mainly because the Dallas Stars made the Western Conference Finals the last 3 years. They weren't looking for a 24-year-old undersized winger who doesn't play much defense, right? But the Bruins are looking for that. They really are looking for that. And yeah, if Asamont can put together 25 or 30 NHL points, that's a heck of a run for him. It really is, especially considering that he's probably not going to be playing with the most talented guys on the roster as well. And the most talented guys on this roster outside of Pasternak would be middle tier offensive guys for a lot of other teams. Casey Middlestad also looked good. He's not going to give you much defensively, and I don't know if he's even a 40-point guy, but he's looked good in this preseason playing with some of those young guys, those fringe guys like Asamont, like Blumel. He's moving the puck well. And again, it's against other teams who are putting preseason rosters out there. So take it with a grain of salt. One guy, though, who is not a fringe guy, he is an NHLer who's getting paid a lot of money for the Bruins this year, whom I still don't know what to make of, is Nikita Zadorov, man. He scores the game winner in overtime last night. It has the best celebration of the year already. He scores. It's a nice play where he gets kind of a partial break, but he can't deke. So he kind of swings it around, uses his big, powerful wrist shot, goes top shelf, and then straight to the exit at Madison Square Garden. Straight to the corner there where he could go right into the tunnel. Fantastic. No one joined him, but that was like a classic. Look, man, this is the preseason. It's nice and everything, but it's the preseason. I've said it so many times on the show before. I really, really want to like Nikita Zadorov. I do, man. I think there are so many things to like about him, but there are probably equal parts things to not like about him, right? Like, he's a guy, he's a terrific skater. Especially for a guy his size at 6'6". And, it's a lumbering body to kind of lumber around with, but his strides are huge. He should have better closing speed than what he has, but he is a good skater. I think he's a good puck mover. He doesn't have an elite slap shot. He's not like a beautiful creator of anything, but he is a good puck mover. Like, I think if you had your top defenseman hurt like you did last year, you could have a power play unit where Nikita Zadorov is just hanging up at the top there, but he's not a shooting threat. I think he could be a guy like, you remember when you put Chara in front of the net 10 years ago on the power play and just be a big screen? I don't know why Nikita Zadorov can't be that. He's fine defensively. The back half of last year, he was actually pretty solid defensively. He was one of their best defensemen going when their top two defensemen got hurt. He obviously is still a great body checker. He can fight, which I know a lot of Bruins fans are still way into. Like, he plays with an edge. I like that. He really did cut down on the penalties towards the back half of the season, but I really want to like Nikita Zadorov. I really do, man. And obviously there are plenty of reasons to not like him, as evidenced by the fact that he's on team number 7, 6. Like, he's bounced around a lot for a guy who was a top 10, top 20 pick in the NHL draft. But this could be a really standout year for him, is what I'm trying to say. You got your two top defensemen working back to full health. Okay, he's going to get good minutes here and would be a very solid third pairing guy if that's what he ends up being once those guys are fully healthy and caught up with the program. He clearly has a leadership role on this team. He's wearing one of the A's. I thought there was an outside chance he could have been a captain for this team. There's a real role for him to play here. He's making a good amount of money. It's one of the worst contracts in the Eastern Conference. But he's making good money. He's got a role here. He's a veteran voice in that locker room. And for a team that is clearly hell-bent on getting more physical and playing with more of an edge and being hard to play against, Nikita Zadorov can absolutely fill in those kinds of holes. And maybe it will lead to me getting a Nikita Zadorov jersey. That's a real possibility, because the last thing I have to talk about with this preseason wrap-up is, my God, guys, look at that sweater Matvei Blumel is wearing there. Okay. Look at it on Mikey Asamont and whomever that is. That's a little blurry. That is a perfect fucking sweater, man. Like, I saw that for the first time in action last night. That is a perfect Bruins jersey, man. Like, that is perfect. And I was showing my fiance that, and she was like, why? Why is it so great? It just looks kind of basic to me. And I'm like, if I have to explain it, I can't explain it. Like, look at that logo. Look at how much that pops. The logo, by the way, looks like it actually is not too big. Look at the accent on the back there, on the numbers and the name, and the stripes are perfect. It's just a perfect freaking jersey, man. I want one yesterday. Like, I seriously might head over to the pro shop this weekend and buy one in person. These are perfect. Perfect. Now, of course, because of that, I'll probably get another Pasternak one because I don't want to fuck around and have Nikita Zadorov not be good. And then I have my favorite Bruins jersey, and it's a player that's not even very good on the back. But those are absolutely perfect, crisp, clean jerseys, man. One more look at the front. Come on. Come on, just absolutely perfect. Let me know what you think about these guys, Matvei Blumel, Michael Eyssimont, Nikita Zadorov, and let me know what you think about these jerseys, maybe most importantly. Let me know in the comment section below. Can Blumel be a player for them? Can he be a 20-goal guy that they desperately need? I think it is absolutely worth the shot. I really do. And what that means is play him in the friggin' NHL. Give him the first 50 or 60 games at least. Let's see what this kid can do. It's probably his last chance. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Then be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We come at you live every weekday, high noon Eastern time on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. I'm Cam Stuart. That's why it's called The Cam Show. Zach Burke keeps us on the air from behind the glass. Check out the other videos on the channel, talking a lot of Bruins, Red Sox, everything else going on in the world of Boston sports, because here at The Cam Show, we are your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. Coming up next, let's take a look at the playoff picture again in the American League. It is really coming down to the wire. The schedule makers look like Nostradamus, and the Red Sox might not be having the worst collapse of anyone in the American League right now. They look a bit more stable. Their next opponent, though, is hanging on for dear life in what could be one of the greatest collapses in MLB history. We'll tell you about it and give you today's current playoff bracket next on The Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
InMotion is more than just a name. It's a legacy of innovation. From supplying electric vehicle parts like motors and inverters since the 1960s to creating cutting-edge electric scooters, hoverboards, and unicycles, InMotion is shaping the future of mobility. Whether you're looking for industrial power solutions or accessible personal transport, InMotion has you covered. Explore our products and experience the future of movement. Visit store.inmotionworld.com today.
Is your Mac running slow? Mac Booster 8 is your all-in-one solution to clean up 20 types of junk files, remove malware and viruses, and protect your device. It also optimizes your Mac's hard disk, fixes disk permission issues, and cleans memory, all to boost your Mac's performance to the max. Get your Mac running like new again with Mac Booster 8. Visit macboost.net today.
Finding a sleep sack that my baby likes has been a struggle.
The sleep sack from Joy is a major upgrade.
It is all-natural eucalyptus, which is breathable and hypoallergenic, which is really great for your baby's sensitive skin.
And it's made with Climatech, which regulates your baby's temperature.
You can also get Joy's crib sheets, which are made of the same super soft material.
Joy gave my baby comfort
and gave me peace of mind.
At Matt Piffle, we believe in celebrating your journey, past, present, and future. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence, elevate creativity, and honor what matters most. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiffle.com and start celebrating your story today.
And now, back to our show.
Back to our show, the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. And man, is it getting interesting in the American League. What we are seeing right now is one of the great collapses potentially in baseball history going on in the American League. And no, it's not the Boston Red Sox, but the Red Sox suddenly find themselves very much involved in it. I mean, it is getting nuts because of the Red Sox win last night. They are now, still firmly second in the second wild card race. Second wild card in the wild card race. There we go. But they are no longer one game up on the Cleveland Guardians. They are one game up on the Detroit Tigers, who were the best team in the American League through the beginning of August, middle of August. This is crazy what's happening right now. Let's take a look at the playoff bracket if the playoffs started today. It's still the same route for the Red Sox as it was yesterday, playing the Yankees on the road and then having to face the Toronto Blue Jays. But my God, has that thing gotten interesting out there in the Central Division, because they are now even, Cleveland and Detroit, excuse me. But now the Indians, the Guardians, have the tiebreaker on them. They've won 9 of their last 10, and the Detroit Tigers have won 1 of their last 10, including losing 7 in a row. This would be absolutely historic. This would be worse than the 78 Red Sox, who were 14 and a half games up on the Yankees in mid-June and still blew it, went down to a one-game wild card or a one-game playoff. That's what they used to have back then. And the Yankees won that game at Fenway. This would be even worse, man. The Guardians were 12 and a half games back against the Tigers in August. In August, they were 12 and a half games back. That is crazy. And this Guardians team, they just won't go away. Like, we're talking about winning 9 of their last 10. They have a comeback win over Detroit last night. They were down 2-0 in the 6th inning. I was following it with the Red Sox game. They won it. They came back, took the lead 3-2, and won the ball game. But here's the thing. This has been going on for 2.5 months now. From July 7th to August 14th, Cleveland went 23-9 in that stretch. I went to a Guardians win in Cleveland in that span. And then right after that, more amazingly, is they went 1-9 in the next 10 games right after that winning streak. And yet they're still right here. They are now even, level with the Detroit Tigers. This is getting bonkers. And where the Red Sox come into this is they're still trying to hold on to that wild card spot, and they're facing the division leaders right now with Toronto with 2 more. And then this weekend, guess who they're facing off against? Yes, the Detroit Tigers in Detroit. Like, this is going to be a straight up pennant race. And this is exactly what MLB wanted when they decided to add all these new playoff teams. The Red Sox are there. The Tigers are there. They're going to be battling for their lives this weekend on the same field. I mean, talk about theater that is coming up for this Red Sox team. Like, what more could you ask for? When they finally got serious last offseason, what did we say? We want meaningful games in September. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. They're playing Detroit at home, by the way. Sorry, I think I said in Detroit. Be careful what you wish for. Big win for the Sox last night against Kevin Gausman, who's actually probably the ace for this Blue Jays team. And boy, has he been shoving it lately. You tag him, you end up getting those 3 runs in the 6th inning after you blew your 1-0 lead. Carlos Narvaez, one of the biggest hits of the season. Little 2-run double to extend the lead. That's huge. How about tonight, man? Crochet against Scherzer. Every game, every pitch, every inning, every run matters. And we're throwing at you one of the best pitchers of this generation, if not the best of the 2000s, in Max Scherzer against this year's best pitcher in Garrett Crochet, at least best in the American League. Yeah, take that, Tarek Skubal. This is as good as it gets, fellas. This is real, meaningful September baseball right here. And boy, I'm just looking at Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Oh, Like, eat your heart out. That is going to be some great baseball. I'm going to see what the tickets are like for Sunday. I don't give a shit about missing the end of the Patriots game against the Carolina Panthers when it comes down to what we're going to see this weekend. It's going to be hella expensive to get into the ballpark on Sunday. But, man. Again, I come back to it. What more could you ask for? What more could you ask for? I wish the Red Sox had an opportunity to face the Tigers in the playoffs. I do. Just no matter what happens this weekend, kind of, because, the Tigers could sweep them 3 straight, but I just see a team that is absolutely wilting. But a lot of people are pointing out in 2006, the Tigers completely blew it in August and September. They totally blew it. Red Sox fans will remember that because the Twins won the division. And so Justin Morneau, who was great the last 2 months of the season and helped them win the division title, won the MVP over David Ortiz, who should have won the MVP that year. He hit 54 homers, but did it for a team that did not make the playoffs. It was the best shot that Ortiz had at winning the MVP. So we'll remember that. And the Tigers went to the World Series, and they swept the ALCS, if you'll remember. So they went in with some momentum going into that World Series against the upstart St. Louis Cardinals. So it's happened in Tigers history before. It's certainly, not apples to apples, but we saw that 2021 Red Sox team falter in September and August, and they really, really struggled down the stretch and barely got into the postseason. That team wasn't the best team in the AL for 4 months, like the Tigers were. In fact, that 21 Red Sox team is probably more comparable to this Red Sox team that was always probably going to be a wild card team, if anything. Struggled down the stretch, still has some major holes, but has an ace. I was going to say has a home run hitter, but they don't. And Kyle Schwarber, with what he was in that postseason, pretty similar to what you could get from Roman Anthony if you ever see him again this year. But all that to say, this is fantastic. Like, I love the Patriots, but I can't give a shit for the next month if this is what the kind of baseball that we're going to get here in town. That's got to be the number one show. And we'll, of course, keep you up to date with it. We'll have a playoff picture every day leading up to the postseason if we need to. We will do that, which is, of course, only the next 2 shows of the camp show. But we'll do that because we have the finger on the pulse right here. And we will keep track of what the Red Sox are doing. And, of course, what the Tigers are doing and the Guardians are doing. And then the Astros are now trying to get in. It's a mess in the American League, but in the funnest way possible. So, guys, let me know what you think about how this playoff picture is shaking out. Let me know in the comment section below. Then be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We come at you live every weekday, noon Eastern time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. I'm your host, Cam Stuart. Zach Burke keeps us ahead, keeps us on the air, but from behind the glass. Check out the other videos on the channel talking Red Sox, Bruins, everything else going on in the world of Boston sports. We appreciate you joining in, and we will see you on the next one, the next edition of a little ditty that we like to call The Cam Show.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Sains, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit twosains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.